Good evening and welcome to your Government in Action. I'm your host, Joy Burns-Roger. Thank you for joining us. Many Bahamians were applauded on National Heroes Day for notable service to country. Receiving the highest honor, the Order of the Bahamas, were the Honorable Philip Bethel, Companion, Dr. Gail Sanders, Companion, the Reverend Dr. Michael Simonet, Officer, Rupert Roberts Jr., Officer, George Myers, Member, the Honorable Mr. Justice Joseph Strawn, Retired, Member. There were 11 who were awarded the Order of the Bahamas posthumously. Other categories of awards presented were the Order of Distinction and the Order of Merit.
Each of these honorees has a unique and important story that is interwoven in the fabric of our history, of who we are. It is in peering into the past that we recognize our own strength and draw courage to press forward into an ever uncertain future. Our story is the story of Pompey, an enslaved man who in 1830 rallied his fellow men in a valorous display against an oppressive power. 39 lashes and 192 years later, we sit here, free and sovereign. When we set forth to define who we are, we think of the thousands of Bahamian women and men who stormed down Burma Road on June 1st, 1942, demanding their fair and equal pay. When we make a count to our children, we must tell them about Sir Lyndon Spinling's audacious feat on April 15, 1965, when he flung the mace out of the Parliament House window in protest against gerrymandering. Our story lies in the legacy of Dame Doris Johnson, who boldly refused to know a woman's place. With an unshrinking petition to Parliament and an unmatched persistence, she and the members of the suffragette movement single-handedly brought the Bahamas into a new age of gender politics. Our story is the story of the Robert Loves, Sir Randall Fox, Stephen Dillett, Dame Ivy Dumont, Janet Boswick, Sadie Curtis, Keva Bethel, Cleveland Enos, Kimbo Slice, Tony McKay, Joseph Spence, Amos Ferguson, Thelma Gibson, Sister Annie Thompson, Anatole Rogers, and of course, the Robert Bobby Simonets. These are our heroes. These 200 Bahamians honored today represent but a small fraction of those who have lent their strength to the building of this great nation. These women and men truly embody the good, the righteous, and the worthy. Some of them, like the 4 brave Marines who lost their lives working in defense of the fledgling Bahamas 42 years ago, serve as enduring reminders of the courage, tenacity, and fortitude that make a hero. These honorees stand as stalwart pillars of our community, and today we lift them up in the highest gesture of gratitude. Our honorees today include leaders across the swath of public profession, from business to tourism, healthcare, public administration, and politics. Some of them affect social change through public community and social advocacy, while others work quietly, changing lives one person at a time. What they all have in common, however, is a staunch commitment to positive action and a selfless attitude in the pursuit of better. I applaud the fine work of the National Honors Committee, who's done a remarkable job identifying these local heroines and heroes. While this list is certainly not exhaustive, it's chosen to represent us at our best. I extend heartfelt thanks to the award recipients whose leadership and example set a firm foundational standard for us all. It is you who use your God-given talents to boldly tackle the challenges we face as a country and work tirelessly in the interests of all. It is the work, legacy, and sacrifice of you, our honorees, that strengthens our democracy, advances our charge to be better, brighter future and helps us deepen our resolve to be more than we ever dreamed possible.
Father, first I'd like to extend congratulations to all those who are honored this morning and who will be honored this afternoon. I am pleased that you saw it fit to accept the award, and the nation sees today how you are honored for the great contributions which you've made to our country. I hope that your success and the success of what we're engaged in this morning of statecraft is an important example to the younger ones who are coming up behind us. The fight for independence is a continuous fight. 1973 was just the beginning, and we're now 50 years in. I'm with my colleague this morning, Mrs. Loretta Butler Turner, and I'm sure we all remember that first afternoon, I think it was about 1990, in the public square. And we had been told that we didn't have permission to be in the square to mark what was the beginning of the campaign for these honors. And Lady Butler was still alive then, and she was going to be our special guest at the Mass. And I said, let them arrest Lady Butler then. Well, as it stands, the ceremony went on, and it was Loretta Butler Turner who first said we should have this national holiday. And it took from that time until the year 2016, when the act was finally passed by Parliament. In that regard, I have to thank the Right Honorable former Prime Minister Perry Christie, who allowed me and the Cabinet to shepherd the legislation through and to guide the committee on all the recommendations that ultimately were made to make this possible.
The Prime Minister also commended the efforts of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, Loretta Butler Turner, Freddie Munnings Jr., Father Sebastian Campbell, Atma Bowe, and the late Terence Bethel, and all those whose efforts he deemed indispensable in making this event possible. The heads of agreement signed between the Bahamas government and Azul Destinations Limited and Calypso Cove Destinations Limited for the development of a multi-million-dollar project in South Long Island was deemed a golden letter day for investments in the country. Carissa Williamson has that story.
The Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, welcomed the stakeholders to this historic moment for South Long Island, which would bring much excitement and economic opportunity to the island. Present were Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, Secretary to the Cabinet Nicole Campbell, Director of Investments Felicia Woods Hanna, Executive Chairman of Azul Destinations Limited Sharif Asal, Carlos Torres de Navarra of Royal Caribbean Group, Thomas Dean, Attorney of DePuch and Turnquest, and other officials.
Azul Destinations Limited and Calypso Cove Destination Limited were approved to develop an independent cruise port terminal destination, marina, and a luxury residential resort community development to be known as Calypso Cove. It's situated in the vicinity of the settlements of Gordon's and Mortimer's, Long Island. The capital investment is in excess of $250 million. And I can tell you that I visited this area, and I want you to know that at Gardens in particular are some of the most magnificent beaches that I have seen. And I am from Exuma. I know, I know good beaches when I see them. The development will comprise a 200-bedroom hotel, mega yacht marina facilities, interior pools and lagoons to support the water park features, casinos, cruise ports, cruise pier, 18-hole professional design golf course, a miniature golf course, development of park areas in conjunction with the Bahamas National Trust, and much, much more. This is a magnificent, eco-sensitive resort for the southern end of Long Island.
The investors praised the government for the timely manner in which the agreement was signed and executed.
When we, I don't want to take too much of your time, but when we came to government with this idea, the premise was something that I had been holding, and Sharif and a number of other people had been holding, that the Bahamas is a premier destination. It's a destination that should continue to seek investments to broaden its tourism approach as well as the product. And I had an idea. We all had an idea for a destination within a very close proximity of what is the cruise capital of the world, and that's the state of Florida. And when we saw this property, we did our assessment. We noticed that from an environmental perspective, which was the most important thing to us, that there was no roadblocks, and we started the process of validating the site. But I didn't fall in love with necessarily where we were going to put a cruise ship or any of the aquatic features. I fell in love with Long Island right away. From the moment that we landed, the warmth that the people that we met, the sort of the fortitude and the trust that they placed in us is something that none of us take for granted.
I am very grateful for the opportunity that the Bahamas or the Bahamians have actually given me. As an immigrant from Egypt in the States, developing a destination that actually, like Carlos said before, Bahamian. It is not intended as a water park, per se, like other facilities. We wanted the relaxation, the beauty of Long Island is, I mean, I got to know a lot of people there. So, you know, some of them, the settlements and some of the people, they're just so kind. They are pleasant. Long Island Association, I appreciate your support, your help for everything that you guys have done to get us to where we're at today. This is a Bahamian destination. It's you know, it's intended for everyone to flourish, the locals to get business opportunities in Long Island, to have their own entrepreneurship, have their own businesses.
Mr. Cooper envisioned that the proposed development would restore the entrepreneurial and enterprising spirit and the independence the residents of Long Island are known for. An estimated 300 people will be employed during the construction phases. For Your Government in Action, I'm Carissa Williamson.
A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister was recently released on delaying Bahamas Power and Light rate increases. Todd Isaacs has that story.
The statement continued that early in 2022, Bahamas Power and Light requested that an increase in fuel charges be charged to customers, reflecting the huge leap in global energy prices following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
BPL is announcing an increase in the monthly fuel charge. For a large majority of BPL customers who consume less than 800 kilowatt hours, the fuel charge is being increased by 2 cents per kilowatt hour, which will result in an increase this quarter of less than $20 per month. If your current monthly bill is $182 or less, you fall in this category. For those who consume more than 800 kilowatt hours, the increase will be 4.3 cents per kilowatt hour. I want to note here that we will increase the VAT ceiling from $300 to $400. So going forward, no VAT will be due on any electricity bills under $400, which will take some of the sting out of the 4.3 cent increase for a great many BPL consumers, subject to the larger increase. The bottom line is that monthly bills will go up over the next several quarters before they begin to come down in 12 to 18 months.
The context of the fuel increase is within a broader policy framework. And the Prime Minister has laid out that policy framework. You have immediate relief in terms of the VAT. waiver up to $400, but also, as you recall, in the recent budget, you have the removal of stamp duty on the import of solar panels, batteries, making the transition to a cleaner form of energy, which will carry us towards greater energy sovereignty, and that's available to everyone.
For your government in action, I am Todd Isaacs.
More of your government in action when we return. Welcome back. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Transport and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, recently attended the International Civil Aviation Organization General Assembly. Minister Cooper said he was delighted to lead the Bahamian delegation to such an important event.
It's important that we maintain our place in the world. We are building a robust aviation industry in the country. This is an important element of everything we do as an archipelago. We own 30 plus airports, and there are more airstrips across the country. We have a vibrant tourism industry. Aviation is like the oxygen for tourism, and therefore it's critical that we continue to build regulated, safe airports across the country. ICAO gives us an opportunity to draw on the level of expertise available from its more than 190 countries around the world and more than 2,800 attendees. So we have an opportunity not just to attend the technical training sessions, but to network with many of our colleagues from around the world to find opportunities and to create possibilities for the Bahamian people.
Minister Cooper spoke about the critical need for connectivity in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas with its vibrant growing tourism sector, more than 700 islands and keys, 16 major island destinations, and 30 government-owned airports. In light of all this, he said, private aviation plays a vital role in the Bahamas.
Private aviation is key because we get airlift, we get flights from all around the world. We have many international airports, but there are many smaller airports as well that airlines commute to from the main airports like Nassau, Grand Bahama, Exuma, Abaco, etc. So it's important for us to encourage private aviation. Private aviation really will be the key to growing and expanding visitor arrivals in some of the smaller airports in particular. You would know that Naughty Lutra and Exuma and Abaco are some of the most busiest airports in the country, and we are attracting jets of all shapes and sizes because people want to come to these high net worth type destinations, and they want the convenience of flying themselves, if they will. But this is an opportunity to continue to grow tourism. We are focused on this niche of general aviation and private aviation. We're bringing trips to the Bahamas of persons who come specifically to fly and see our islands. We attend air shows every year. We hope to be able to do one in Grand Bahama next year during our 50th anniversary. So this is an area that we want to continue to grow. We've put resources behind it, and I'm excited about the possibilities.
The mission to Montreal provided a great opportunity for the Bahamian delegation to sidebar with aviation partners from around the world.
So we have had an opportunity, for example, to continue the dialogue with Qatar, the Minister of Transport, the President of the Civil Aviation Authority, We want to continue to grow and develop this relationship for technical assistance in the Bahamas. They will be doing an overview and assessment of the business plan of Bahamas Air. Qatar Airways is one of the most successful airlines in the world. They're going to look and give us some guidance as to how we might improve that business plan, how we might ultimately increase the economic benefit or increase profitability of Bahamas Air. So we're looking forward to that beginning in the early part of next year. As well, we anticipate some support for our overall aviation strategy. We're going to be developing an aviation academy. We look forward to training opportunities for young Bahamians. Look, we're building an industry, we're building capacity, we've taken over our airspace, and now it's important that we manage that airspace. We continue to outsource it to the Americans, but we have the capabilities. Bahamians can do it. We want to ensure that we build that capacity.
Following a community meeting held 4 weeks ago during the Dorian Memorial Weekend in Grand Bahama with East End residents who were displaced after the storm, another meeting was held Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 in East Grand Bahama to inform the residents of the government's progress. Ladidra Marsh tells us more.
As promised when they met with residents a few weeks ago, government returned to East Grand Bahama to update them on the work being carried out in the communities as it made good on its word to restore, rebuild, and revitalize East Grand Bahama. In fact, Chairman of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, Alex Storr, told residents from Freetown to McLeanstown at a community meeting on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, they've been conducting assessments on homes in East Grand Bahama for weeks now under the new Homeowners Assistance Repair Program, and the work crews are set to begin shortly. It was welcomed news for the residents who've been waiting to get back into their homes after being gone since Hurricane Dorian ravaged the eastern end of the island 3 years ago. Chairman Storr explained that under the new Homeowners Assistance Repair Program, they won't be issuing purchase orders, and there is a process.
If you had been assessed under the former program, you will need to be reassessed. We have already ordered building material. This is no fluff fun, PR exercise. This is serious business. The work will begin shortly. We hope we're now accepting applications for workers. We aren't giving out contracts for all of the repairs. We'll be hiring work teams and supervised work teams. So if you know of persons that are in need of employment, please have them go to our portal and sign up. Our hope, my wish, is to have persons from East Grand Bahama help to complete the repairs in East Grand Bahama. I don't want to have to go anywhere else on the island or in the country to find persons to come into East Grand Bahama to do these repairs.
Building materials will be provided for residents whose homes are still in need of repair, and for those whose houses were completely destroyed. Storr further explained that the government will rebuild a home for those who qualify.
We are still on the ground. We do not plan to stop until we have repaired every house that we can. And let me say this, while the program is open to everybody, we would hope that we, as citizens, as responsible citizens, would leave it for those that really cannot get any help any other way. And so if you can really afford to do your repairs yourself, I hope that you would take the responsibility and have your repairs completed. But if you need help, you can't do it, or you can't afford it, you have a family, you have other bills, other responsibilities, we are here to help.
The DRA expects to begin signing contracts as soon as next week, and Storr said they anticipate having work teams on roofs and fixing houses shortly thereafter. In the meantime, residents in need of assistance and those skilled in construction, such as carpentry, electrical, plumbing, or masonry, can call the DRA or visit the online portal. For Your Government in Action, I'm Ladidra Marsh.
And that is all for this week. Thank you for joining us. Tune in again next week for another edition of Your Government in Action. I'm Joy Burns-Roger. Good evening.